Hello, Internet. This is Derek Olson with the MySequel podcast. You're actually seeing video of us, unless you're listening to this, and then you're not. But yeah, I'm here with Jake.
Hello.
Robert.
Yeah, that's my name.
And Matt.
Hello.
And we're actually trying something different. So you could call this episode 3.5? Something?
Well, it's a good question.
I don't know. Our naming structure. Whatever it is. This is our lead up to our next episode of MySequel, which is going to be Captain America Civil War.
Yay!
Yes, I think we're all excited. Especially after Batman Superman. I want a good superhero movie where they fight.
A good one.
Well, you can't guarantee that, though. You haven't seen it yet.
That's true.
Although
But the critics actually like this one.
Yeah, like people are going apeshit.
It's like 99% on Rotten Tomatoes as opposed to like 25%. Yay.
Deadpool was 100%.
Oh.
Right.
No, I think it dropped back down after a time.
I'm sure they never stay. So we decided to try something different this time, though. We are actually going to marathon 4 Marvel movies. And then we're going to talk about each one after we're done. We're going to talk about Phase 2 movies that deal with Captain America Civil War. So it'll be Iron Man 3 will be up first, Captain America's Winter Soldier, Avengers 2, and then Ant-Man. We're going to watch them all in a row. So for you, the video won't be very long. For us, this is going to be a long day. And some of us partied a little too hard last night.
Robert.
Might be the person in sweatpants.
And
Pajamas.
drinking
The freaking
orange juice.
pajamas. The plaid pajamas.
I think we were all smart. Robert and I were up way too late last night watching Deadpool and all sorts of stuff. We're very tired, and we're going to watch 4 movies.
So either throughout the day, my hangover is going to get better or worse.
Yeah,
It'll
but
be
a
hard
lot
to
of
tell.
what we were doing was business related. Like
Sure.
we were taking care of
Okay.
important stuff. Well, it was. I mean, in the beginning,
Yeah, me too.
45 minutes or so. So I mean,
With
Yeah.
the whiskey.
I went to bed at like 10 last night.
yeah, but you're married. So your life is over.
Oh, I was like dead last night, so.
So anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to watch the movies. We're going to talk about them a little bit, how they relate to the Marvel Universe as a whole, how they are as sequels, all that fun stuff. It's all going to be a lead into our next MySequel episode, which should be coming out on the... Shit, I should have looked this up before. On a Thursday again.
May 11th,
May 11th.
I think.
Not this
Yay.
Thursday, but next Thursday.
Well, I don't know when this video is going to come out.
You know what we
Well,
should
I
do?
do.
We should just put
We're
a,
smart.
a
We should.
slate on
There
top
will
of
be a
it.
thing right here that's going to say the day that that episode will come out.
We could put the link below.
Down and maybe right here.
The
You have to do
12th.
that.
I was
This
close.
is going to make this whole video harder.
Yep. No, it's not. That's easy. Jake will do it.
We need to put different links on each one of our heads. Like there should be a link on Jake's head for drinking too much,
Yep.
and then
You got any other ones?
I don't. That was it.
Just Jake.
Just Jake.
All right. I think with that, we're going to actually...
Hey.
With that, I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to watch a movie. So for you watching the video, we'll be back here in just a second. For us, we're going to go watch almost a 2.5 hour long movie.
Yeah, go watch and then finish this one.
Yep. Yay. All right.
Yay.
Bye. Be back in a minute. And we're back. So we just watched Iron Man 3. And we also watched the little one-shot on the Thor 2 DVD, All Hail the King, which kind of ties up some loose ends from Iron Man 3. So just so you're aware, we're going to have lots of spoilers. But again, if you're watching this, theoretically, you've seen the movies. Matt hadn't, but now Matt has. The rest of us all had seen Iron Man 3. I think we were in mixed opinions of it. I think I liked it the best.
Yeah, and I didn't dislike it. I just didn't think it was as strong as the first two. But actually, on this rewatch, I enjoyed it a lot more. So
Yeah. I think, Matt, what were you saying about it?
It's like a solid okay. Yeah, it wasn't bad. I enjoyed parts of it. I didn't really like kind of the progression of the story very much. I don't know. It just kind of was really awkward.
Does kind of jump around quite a bit.
the stuff
Yeah.
in Tennessee was just kind of weak, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could have been replaced by any number of things. It seems
Yeah.
I don't know.
So,
It's my least favorite of the Iron Man movies. I think it's the weakest by far.
which is funny because I don't even think that's general consensus. A lot of people didn't like it, but Iron Man 2 is kind of the one everybody hates.
I liked Iron Man.
And I don't
That's
like
really
Iron
good.
Man 2.
See, I like.
I don't hate Iron Man 2, but I don't particularly like Iron Man 2. Like, I'd give that like a solid C. Iron Man 2.
I don't know if I've seen Iron Man 2. No, I don't think I have.
It's there's some good stuff in that. Sam Rockwell's the best part of that movie.
I like how Matt just doesn't watch any of these.
I
But
know.
he's in for the ride later. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
didn't see not Superman Returns, Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Well, like, I don't know if any of these movies are so complicated that you can't
Right.
like.
You can kind of parse out what's happening. Which does bring us to our point. The thing we talk about on this podcast is sequels. So we're going to talk real quick about our thoughts on Iron Man 3 as a sequel, and also how it fits into the Marvel Universe as a whole. Now, it does actually have a few major things that do take place with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the TV show, which I think I'm the only one that watches that.
It's because that show sucks.
It does not suck. I enjoy it. It's not great, but I enjoy it. It's more superhero stuff. But the president from Iron Man 3 is the president in the MCU. He might have a cameo in Civil War, but he is in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. here and there. Even the stuff, the Extremis stuff, the kind of the super soldiers, bad guys that they're making, that stuff makes a reappearance in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Other people have taken that technology and are making super soldiers. I think as a sequel, it's... I like this movie, but I don't think it's necessarily a great sequel because I think, in a way, this kind of caps off Iron Man. But then he keeps going because he's in other movies. Which, so that'd be the thing. Like, I like this as a movie, but in context, it doesn't fit the best because I feel like at the end of the movie, it almost feels like he's kind of done with Iron Man. A little bit.
Other than he specifically says, "I am Iron Man."
Well, like
and
that's...
we don't hear the Black Sabbath song.
Right. But it's like it's part of him. That's kind of who he is. But I mean, he blows up a lot of his suits. He does that stuff. It almost feels like maybe he's going to be done for a while. But then he's back in Avengers. So
Yeah.
it is slightly weird. I feel like this was supposed to be the last standalone Iron Man movie. Now they're talking they might do another one. But I think it makes sense. This, as a direct sequel maybe to the Iron Man, I think it caps off the Iron Man trilogy pretty well. But I think the problem comes more in the broader context of what's happening.
I think though what it does do really well, and it's kind of important, is it shows the fallout, the emotional fallout, the traumatic fallout from the Avengers on Stark, which is going to pay off in
Avengers 2.
and then in
Civil
Civil
War.
War.
Yeah.
See, and that's probably kind of my favorite part about this movie too is he kind of loses a little bit of his charisma and his flair. He's kind of damaged, and then they literally take the suit away from him for a while as well.
See, I actually like that stuff, him not being in the suit.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think the Tennessee stuff, I think they could replace with some other stuff, but I kind of like the idea of him being out of the suit for a while.
I was okay with that. Just the stuff that was actually happening
Right.
in Tennessee was kind of lame.
I got to say this though, and we were talking about this just a minute ago. This is one of my biggest gripes about this movie is that in this movie, Iron Man, the invincible Iron Man, is extremely fragile and brittle. And I'm not talking about Stark. He is, but that makes sense. But the suits themselves crumble, like, all the time.
Yeah, it's very...
But that's because of the superpowers that those
a little bit, but
the
even
other
when
guys had,
one
right?
gets hit by the truck and it breaks.
Yeah.
Well, that was a prototype.
They're constantly... Yeah, but...
I mean, they've got a lot of good excuses, I guess, but
I just
I agree with
found
Robert.
him to be really weak.
Like, some of the stuff I thought was okay because they do have the superpower, super strength, and the heat, and they can do that. But I agree they are... This is like the weakest we've seen the Iron Man armor in all of the Iron Man
With the
stuff.
exception of Igor, and all he is a prop. Igor is the one that lifts up the building.
Oh, okay.
He's just a a stick.
It's
that's
like
all he is.
Like they got the idea for like the end of the movie where they like, we want to have a bunch of suits. How do we get there?
Right.
So they just.
I agree. I would say, though, I think this movie had some of the funnest action sequences in the Marvel movies. I really enjoyed a lot of the action stuff in this movie. I thought the ending battle with Stark jumping from suit to suit was cool, and I even liked him rescuing the people, which they actually shot that practically.
Wait, what?
They went with a parachuting group. So they actually recorded that stuff of them catching each other.
So is he just wearing a green screen suit as he's falling?
Yeah, there was or I don't even know if he was there. They might have completely digitally added in Iron Man, but no, that was all the people they actually shot all that, which was really cool. I seen the behind the scenes features on that. It was really neat.
That scene, yeah, like I don't know how plausible all that was, but that scene actually looked really good.
And I think that's why. It's because they shot it.
Yeah.
They put cameras and they jumped out of a plane and caught each other, and I thought it was a clever action sequence. It was.
To film that? Like,
oh, I'm sure that was horrible.
It's like, oh, this was a great shot, except for Bobby's in the background with his camera.
Right.
Yeah, how many times can you do that?
Yeah. And then they had to digitally remove all of their parachutes.
Oh, I bet that was hard.
That was a lot of work, I'm sure, right there.
I would also like to point out that as much as this is not my favorite Iron Man or Marvel movie, it's way better than Batman v Superman.
Yes, it is.
I was enjoying it kind of based off of that alone.
Right. It makes it a lot more fun.
Batman v Superman is going to catch a lot of shit from us for a while, I think.
Yes, it is. From a lot of people.
You gotta shit on something.
Ooh.
I know it's like the new floor for movies.
For superhero movies,
Yeah.
Well, which is interesting because that is actually, not to get off topic, but that's having a rippling effect. The Flash director just left.
Getting off topic is what we do best.
Yeah, he just quit the movie, the Flash movie, and now there's some talk that James Wan might quit the Aquaman movie. There's kind of people jumping ship.
If you listen to our last podcast, we talked about our podcast network and doing other ones.
See?
I think we should start a podcast called Off Topic, where
Or maybe
we're going to talk about X. That's our intro. Today we're going to talk about X, and then we immediately proceed to talk about Y.
or like we just rename the podcast like better than Batman v Superman ?
That should be at the end of every MySequel. Was this better than Batman v Superman?
that should be our third game.
Is
we
it
play.
better than Laser Blast, but updated for?
Yes.
Also, we agreed this is going to be like a 5-minute thing, and we're already 10 minutes in.
This took 10 minutes?
We like to talk.
Oh, well, Santa, quit. Close us. Close.
Oh, God.
Get us out of here. We got 6 more hours worth of movies to watch.
Well, I think it's more than 6 hours. We need to take a quick break. We're actually going to get some lunch. Then we're going to watch Captain America Winter Soldier, and then we'll be back for a recap of that. Thank you.
You go watch that movie.
Yes.
Bye.
And we're back, and we probably look tireder every time you see us, and there's more junk food. So we just finished watching Captain America the Winter Soldier. Now, Jake and Matt, you hadn't seen this one. I feel like Matt has not seen anything.
I haven't.
Kind of a reoccurring theme.
Yeah.
So.
He's our control subject. I think Matt actually brought that up in another podcast, but he is consistently
Yeah,
our control subject.
Right.
Yeah.
So the two that had not seen it, what did you guys think of Winter Soldier?
Oh, I liked it quite a lot. I think it might be the best one out of all of them I've seen.
Out of all the Marvels, or
Yeah, maybe.
yeah.
I think so. I think Guardians is my favorite, but Winter Soldier's right up there with Guardians.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Guardians is probably my favorite, but again, it's a little different from. It's a
Right.
little less of an action film, a little more of kind of a have fun film.
And kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Well, that's even what I like about Winter Soldier is it's different too. The Winter Soldier is very much kind of a spy movie, which is cool.
I really enjoyed it more than I thought I would because I'm not a huge Captain America fan. So
It's funny, the honest trailers when they did Winter Soldier, that was like the how they started. It's like his first movie was okay. He wasn't your favorite Avenger. But then in Winter Soldier, you realize Captain America kicks ass. That he's actually really awesome.
I think this had some of the best action sequences too. And
Which again makes me very excited because Joel and Anthony Russo, who directed this movie, Winter Soldier, they're directing Civil War and they are directing the next Avengers. So I'm excited because I like the action work they did in this. I'm excited for Civil War. I'm excited for Avengers, and
kind of brings us back to liking the shit on Batman versus Superman. When they're doing the car chase scene in this movie and cars are being hit and flying around, it felt realistic versus the Batmobile versus all those cars being thrown around.
Well, and again, I think
toys.
that's the thing is it was practical.
Yeah.
Like most of that stuff is practical.
Except for maybe the machine gun coming out of the center
Well,
console.
yeah, that's a little different.
Right.
But
that's a standard feature or whatever.
yeah, apparently you don't drive a Chevy.
Yeah.
Oh, is that my problem?
So they all come in. No, I love Nick Fury's car. No, there's a lot of silliness in it, but I like. Yeah, it's like I said, very good action. I think it helps that Cap is superpowered, but maybe not that superpowered, so it helps in the fight sequences that he can fight just regular people.
It's also nice that, like, he has to worry about getting shot and things
Yeah.
like that, so that's nice to...
Yeah.
He bleeds.
He does.
So
I still think he's
does
a little bit
bleed.
overpowered for what he's supposed to be. That's kind of my biggest criticism of Captain America in this universe is, well, even in the comic books,
Right.
And you mentioned it earlier, is that they give him as much power as the story requires.
Right. It does
They're not
seem to
consistent.
change of how strong he is, from comic to comic and even movie for movie a little bit of it's kind of, well, we need him to be this strong, so he's going to be this strong for this one. But anyway, Winter Soldier sequel. I think we were talking about Iron Man 3 earlier. I think this is a great sequel to Captain America 1.
Yeah.
As a direct sequel to Captain America's story, I think it's great because it kind of picks up. I mean, he's in Avengers, but they don't really deal with him much. I like that they pick up with him kind of being a man out of time, kind of readjusting, and I think that's a natural progression to his story, which is good. His little notebook of things he needs to look up.
which was awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of really great little things in it, like Star Wars and Star Trek.
Nirvana.
There's a bunch of others.
That's funny.
Rocky 1 and then Rocky 2's got a question mark next to it.
That's funny too. Except like he should have like his notebook should be just like covered page to page with like things because that's like I like that touch because that's totally something like everybody if that was
Right.
that would be something people would
It's
do.
getting caught up with. He's got 70
it's-
years to get caught up on those stuff.
It's funny that it's a notebook too instead of like a smartphone or something.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
he's using pen and paper.
Yep.
It's also kind of funny that it's all pop culture shit. Like you don't notice anything on there that's
It's not like Vietnam War.
Right.
yeah.
So look up
Kennedy
what was Cold
assassination.
War.
yeah. Spent some time on the
Yeah.
But no, it's I think this is a pretty great direct sequel to the first Captain America.
I'd agree.
I think-
It's a good one.
It's very solid. I like too is it expands Black Widow. I kind of feel like the ship has sailed. We're not going to get probably a standalone Black Widow movie, which I think sucks. I think she's a good character, but I enjoyed she had a lot to do in this movie. You learned a lot about her, which is nice. You get a lot of nice characterization on her. And I love Falcon. I think the new characters they brought in were really good. I think Falcon's a good addition going forward. And I think one of the knocks against a lot of the Marvel movies is I think a lot of times the villains aren't very good. But I actually liked Pierce, Robert Redford in this one. I thought was a good villain. Clear motivations.
Yeah.
It'd be almost nice to see more movies with this group of characters.
Right. Yeah, and that's almost going to be the thing is, Civil War is, yes, we're getting some of them, but we're getting everybody else. So it will be interesting to see how they juggle that.
I do just think it's kind of weird how people swear allegiance to Hydra. It's just kind of like they kind of live this double life.
Yeah,
But
it is funny when you really start to think wait a minute.
That's how like all
The
conspiracy
Hydra?
all conspiracy theories fall apart because it's like, how did you get tens of thousands of people to be in on this?
yeah.
Yes, I love. I heard the directors explaining that there's got to be Hydra in HR as well, and an IT department, and there's very mundane Hydra agents,
Hydra janitors.
Harder it is to keep.
right? Which I actually love how it should have ended. There's a great one.
There's gotta be a Hydra music scene and stuff.
I love it.
Hydra softball team.
There should be Hydra versus Shield.
Yeah.
But yeah, and how it should have ended. They have. He says Falcon's taking care of all the Hydra agents. Like how he just steps up behind Crossbones Rumlow in the movie, and he goes, "Hail Hydra." And the guy goes, "Hail Hydra." And he's like, "Gotcha!" And he grabs him and flies up in the air. Because everybody keeps saying that. Hail Hydra.
That's probably
So, that's
pretty
how
good
you get it.
finishing.
So yeah, good sequel. Then I think this is a pretty important movie in the overall Marvel universe too. It sets up quite a bit of stuff for later movies, for Civil War directly, but even the TV shows. The Fall of S.H.I.E.L.D. is very important to the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show because that really kind of changes the premise of that because S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't exist anymore.
You think those writers knew about that?
I don't know.
I actually want to bet they were all pissed off about that shit. Like
we
they
just started the damn show.
Yeah,
They were
know
trying-
about it
they were
until
trying to
went
make
the
it-
theater.
They were trying to make it authentic for them. Like they
Oh yeah, they're all Hydra. Which actually, spoilers for the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. Again, I like it. Robert doesn't, but I think I thought the first half of the season 1 was pretty weak, and it got good after the events of this, where Hydrant, even one of the main characters of the show, I thought was the most milquetoast character, ended up being a Hydra agent, and he became way more interesting, and he started working against them. But I thought they did well in the show of integrating that, but it really, I think it's important to the overall universe. It even mentions in the Civil War trailers, like they talk about New York, Sokovia, and then Washington D.C. as kind of an inciting incident for the events of Civil War that they did kind of blow up a lot of shit in the nation's capital. So
they're definitely building story elements, which is good.
It's got some nice through lines. It definitely sets up. Civil War a lot of Civil War seems to be predicated upon Bucky. I think somebody blames Bucky for something, and they come to get him.
It sounds like they frame him for assassinating what's his name from.
I think they blow up the UN.
Yeah, but it's the Black Panthers.
Yeah, Black Panthers.
Yeah.
Maybe they sneak a bomb in a wheelchair.
Which is awesome because we were talking to. We watched that
bad person.
All Hail to the King. All Hail the King. The one shot. But the guy in that comes to get the Mandarin is the wheelchair guy from Batman Superman, which is kind of awesome. Yeah, again, just keep watching these movies, and it just makes Batman Superman look worse and worse.
People are going to see this or listen to it. They're going to be Batman fans, and they're going to hate our guts.
They're going to. Well, people are mad. People are convinced that there's a conspiracy theory against Batman Superman. Like, that critics just want to see it fail.
There wasn't until I saw it, but now I signed up.
Yeah,
I'm
we're part of the conspiracy.
Oh yeah,
Hail Hydra.
I was on the conspiracy like within the first 10 minutes of that movie. So like, what I like within 10 minutes of at the very beginning, like when the bats like swoop him up or whatever his dream sequence is, and
where Jake's like, I'm out.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was.
Yes, pretty much. So apparently, it's not just that movie's not a good movie. There's a conspiracy theory. But again, it is harder. It's not always to compare the two, but I mean, you got DC, you got Marvel. Just the Marvel movies are way better so far.
Yep.
And they really have been. Even the ones that aren't as good, or at least, when we talked about Iron Man 3 last, it definitely wasn't everybody's favorite, but, it was at least.
DC would quit insisting that their movies be so damn depressing.
Yeah. Again, even in this movie that's a little bit darker tone than, say, like Iron Man 3 was, there's a lot of fun in this one. In Winter Soldier, even. A lot of kind of moments of levity and things like that.
Well, and it's also like an interesting to watch movie. So.
Yeah. Less CG, less dark. Everything in Batman and Superman is at night.
It's like
less dream sequences.
Yes, no dream sequences. A couple of flashbacks we did get, but
more than 3 colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've ended this round of let's shit on Batman Superman again.
We're gonna figure out some way to bring it up every time.
Oh yeah, we'll find a way.
Shouldn't be too hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This movie didn't suck. Unlike.
Yeah. So we're on to our next movie, which is going to be we're skipping Guardians since it doesn't necessarily tie into the Civil War movie. So we are jumping to Avengers: Age of Ultron, and we're going to keep progressively getting more tired every time you see it. It already feels way late, and it's not. And we got 2 more movies to go. So, which means we should probably get started. So, with that, thanks for watching this part. We'll be back for you in a moment. And we're back again. We just saw Avengers: Age of Ultron, and like you said, we are getting progressively tired.
Yeah, not doing anything all day is hard work.
It is. That's 3 straight movies we've watched, all pretty long. Yeah. So Age of Ultron. This is the one that we've all seen. We'd all seen this one before.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think Age of Ultron's interesting. I like Age of Ultron, but I think especially after just watching Winter Soldier right before this, I think Winter Soldier's a much better movie.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I don't think Age of Ultron's a bad movie, but the funny thing is, I think when I first saw Age of Ultron in theaters, I didn't like it that much. I didn't hate it, but I was like, yeah, this is good. But I think I've actually grown to like it more since I've bought it and I've watched it several times. I enjoy it more.
I like it. I like it a lot. I from the first time I watched it, I think Ultron himself has done really well, and I like the story. I like the movie. It's one of my favorites.
I enjoyed it. I think that I like the first Avengers more, obviously, but there was nothing that I didn't like about this one. I mean, there's a few questions that kind of come up of how does that work or how does this work that kind of bother me. But
right, I think there's a little bit of the thing with the first Avengers is really, really good. This is not a bad movie, but it maybe suffers a little bit in comparison.
Yeah, I like this better the second time watching it. The first time, it did not benefit from me seeing it the week after Fury Road. So, like, it was like, well, standards kind of went up in that 1 week. So
Not as good as Fury Road.
Right.
No,
For sure.
no.
Yes.
versus after watching any movie, after watching Batman versus Superman,
Yeah. See,
they all
again,
look
we're-
incredible.
We can't get away from
Nope,
it, can we?
nope. From now on, this is our new benchmark.
I loved it. We're in the middle of the movie, and Derek goes, "See, they can save people without the Jesus scene, or however you put that."
They didn't need Jesus imagery to save people.
They can save people without looking unhappy about saving people.
Superman looks so glum in Batman Superman when he's saving people.
Slow motion
It's just like,
sadness.
oh. Yeah.
They did have the Vision. Love the Vision.
Vision is awesome. I'm very excited that he's going to be in Civil War, which is good. So, as a sequel, what do we think of Age of Ultron as a sequel to Avengers? Not necessarily in the broader scheme of things, directly sequel to Avengers. How do we... I think it's an alright sequel. I don't think it's a great sequel. It takes some of the existing plot threads and moves it forward. I think the one thing that it does the best is the first Avengers movie, we really only get the Avengers for like the last 20 minutes of the movie, the big battle sequence, which is awesome. But that's really when they're Avengers. The kind of nice thing about this movie is we get a lot more of them being Avengers, which is nice. You know, we even talked about, I like the team up stuff when they're fighting. You know, I like when Thor and Cap are, you know, and all of them, they're kind of helping each other fight. And I really enjoy that kind of stuff, especially as a comic book fan. It feels a lot more like comic book panels and cool stuff like that. So that's the thing I think it probably did the best was I enjoyed it just because it was like, hey, we're Avengers now.
Watching this movie right after Winter Soldier, it's kind of... In Winter Soldier, it doesn't feel like the Avengers hang out. In
Yeah.
this movie, it seems like they get together like at least a couple times a week and hang out in the mansion and party.
Which was cool. I really enjoyed that scene, which I think was a good scene for the movie of kind of them establishing outside of being superheroes.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff is really good. I think that's where some of the better moments comes from.
I think it's... I like it better as a sequel. I think... Because, in the first Avengers movie, they're trying to create a team.
Mm-hmm.
We start this movie, they are a team.
Mm-hmm.
They have a game plan. We get the sense that they've been doing things together, and they're flowing. And then they get thrown this curveball that kind of breaks the team apart, and they have to try to come back from that. And I like that.
Mm-hmm. It's a good little arc for the movie. You know, I mean, it flows and makes sense. We're here, then here, and then we've got some changes. And
then also we get the Vision.
yeah, Vision's cool. And I really like Scarlet Witch. I like what they did with that character, which is a very hard character. I was never super excited for Scarlet Witch when I first heard that she was going to be in the movie because she is such a weird comic book character and kind of problematic and a lot of stuff like that. But I like what they did with her in the movies. I enjoyed her in this. I'm excited to see her in Civil War.
I just hope they kill her off before she goes crazy.
Mutants don't exist in Marvel, so she doesn't have to go fully crazy. Because in the comics, she erases all mutants. But you can't be mutants in Marvel.
She has the power to change the probabilities. It's quite possible that she could create the House of M. Fox be damned.
That could honestly be funny. Maybe that's how we bring mutants in. Somehow Fox and Marvel creates a deal, and it's Scarlet Witch that brings mutants over. It's very comic booky for those of you that don't read
Super nerds.
the comics on that one. Yeah, no, I enjoyed that. I really enjoyed Quicksilver. I was sad to see him go. I thought they did a good job with the character, but he had to kill somebody. It honestly is kind of one of those things with the big event movies, is it becomes so not shocking when they kill somebody off, but it's almost like you have to kill somebody off. Otherwise, there's never any stakes if nobody ever dies.
They really wanted you to think it was Hawkeye.
Oh yeah, that whole movie is... Like, all he needed to say is he was 2 weeks away from retirement.
What do you think the
It
odds
was
are?
the way that felt like that was going.
What do you think the odds are he dies in Civil War?
There's maybe good odds that he's going to die in Civil War. Because the thing is with Civil War is a lot of other people have contracts to do other movies. and they have other movies coming out. Hawkeye doesn't, other than Avengers. You know,
And we've pretty much wrapped his character up in this one with his family and
Kinda.
his motivation. I don't know that he's got any place else to go.
it'd be interesting. I don't know, but I think there maybe is a good chance he might die. Somebody's gonna die. They've pretty much said it that somebody big is gonna die by the end of the movie. So we know it's not gonna be Tony Stark now because he's gonna be in the Spider-Man movie. So Tony makes it out, obviously. So
It's kind of funny. It's almost like the contracts are deciding.
right, I mean, like Spider-Man's gonna make it out because we have Spider-Man coming. Black Panther's gonna make it because we have a Black Panther movie coming.
Well, and but the thing about it is Captain America dies at the end of Civil War.
The comics. So there is still a chance we kill Steve. And maybe in the comics, the Falcon is Captain America.
And Winter Soldier also.
And Winter Soldier was also Captain America at one point. So that's maybe the direction they go. I don't know. It'll be interesting. But yeah, let's wrap up our talk on Ultron, though. We'll speculate a little bit more about Civil War probably in our last segment. But yeah, good. I think good, not great.
I liked
That's
it.
the way I feel.
I wouldn't say. I would say it was great for me.
Yeah, I'd give it a solid B.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Like, it was good. I had a lot of fun with it. Again, it's a movie I like more. As a movie, I don't think it's super strong, but it's a very good comic book movie. Like, of being able to see superheroes fight and do superhero stuff, and that's where it's very, very good. But it's maybe not as strong, straightforward movie as, like, Avengers or, like, Winter Soldier.
I give it an A minus.
I definitely, I'd put it above a few of the standalone movies. Definitely.
Way better than Iron Man 3 bullshit.
I like Iron Man 3. Robert and I can just never completely agree on anything.
We agree. I think
There always has to be something we can disagree with.
I think I want to disagree with you on this point. I think we're pretty much in agreement on Guardians of the Galaxy. I
Yeah.
think we're pretty parallel
Guardians
on
is
that.
awesome.
So the way the scale works then is Winter Soldier would be the A+, and an F would be Batman versus Superman.
I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Fist bump.
I think, yeah. All right. Well, we're going to be on to our last movie. We got one more to go. We need some caffeine and ready to go. But Ant-Man is the next one up.
Wait, I'm sorry. I take it back. If the original Daredevil gets an F, so Batman v Superman's got to go with a solid D.
Oh, original.
I don't know which of those I would pick as the worst.
Really?
Yeah,
I feel like we should watch them both back to back and decide.
We need to go. We need to have even though it's not a sequel, we need to
I'm
go
just
back
thinking
and
of-
watch the original Daredevil at some point because we keep talking about it.
Daredevil, Batman v Superman, Green Lantern.
Yes,
That's a bad movie night right there.
I've never actually seen Green Lantern. I just was
wow.
like,
Damn it!
it's bad.
Watch some TV once in a while, son.
I think
I
you can
will.
avoid Green Lantern. That one you should be okay to. That one's that movie's bad. DC, man, you got some catching up to do. None of these are quite stacked.
it looks so horrible that I just never wanted to. And I kind of like Green Lantern, so
I love Green Lantern. That's what made me mad. Is I have a Green Lantern belt buckle. Like I've got about 5-year run of Green Lantern comics that I own. That was not cheap, and I love it. But
Green Lantern was pretty cool. The movie was terrible.
poor Ryan Reynolds. But now he gets to be Deadpool, so everything's better.
Right.
yeah, it worked out better
It
for
worked out well for
him.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, and he got a shit on the Green Lantern
He
and Daredevil.
sufficiently mocked
or,
himself in that
Yep.
movie and X-Men Origins.
Yep.
Which I like that movie, by the way. I know I'm in the minority on that one, but
I don't hate that movie, but it's
I do hate Deadpool's depiction in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, I think it's a decent flick.
Oh, the
when they sew his mouth shut. Even
Wolverine movie.
yeah.
Oh God,
You didn't
that's
see that one.
I
either, did
hate
you?
that.
No,
Oh,
we
did
saw
you
that
watch
one
that?
in theater.
that's like that's
That's when Matt stopped watching movies.
that's such a terrible movie.
That might be a good one. Maybe we'll
So
see.
is that worse than Daredevil?
Oh yeah,
Is that
like
worse?
miles ahead of it for how
about-
terrible it is.
What
All
about
that's gotta
Batman
go
v
on the list of
Superman?
to-dos.
Because like Daredevil's just like stupid, but like Wolverine's like on a totally different level. Like,
Yes. We're off topic. All right, we're gonna get back.
So angry.
All right, we're gonna get ourselves back on track. We're gonna watch Ant-Man. We're gonna be done watching movies today.
I'm not turning my television on tomorrow or the next day.
No. So we're gonna wrap up, and so we will be back very shortly after Ant-Man. So, bye in a minute. And we are back and tired. We just finished Ant-Man, so our movie marathon is complete. We watched 4 movies today: Iron Man 3, Captain America: Winter Soldier, Avengers 2, and then Ant-Man. So now, as far as MySequel goes, Ant-Man is not a sequel, so we can't necessarily talk about it as a sequel. I think, though we were talking before, I think we're kind of excited for a sequel for Ant-Man, though, which is already announced. It's going to be Ant-Man and the Wasp is the title of it. Wasp is going to obviously be in it, and I'm excited. What were your thoughts on Ant-Man? Matt hadn't seen it, like everything else.
I want Matt to go first.
I liked it. I thought this was one of the best looking movies I've seen.
Yes.
It's just really, really nice special effects. Just everything looked really good. I was like,
On our Batman versus Superman to Winter Soldier scale, how does this rate?
this definitely isn't as good as Winter Soldier. I think that's just kind of like all around, just really, really well rounded. It's kind of
I think
just hits all the right.
this one really kind of reminds me of more of like the Guardians of the Galaxy kind of a style of a movie.
Yeah,
It's fun, and that's kind of the purpose of it. You know, like the action scenes, and then it's not very much drama. So,
Well, I think that was purpose, because this is the last movie of Phase 2 for Marvel. This was the end of Phase 2, which I think makes sense for as dark as the last few movies kind of were. Like Winter Soldier is not a very peppy movie, you know. Good, but and then even Age of Ultron, you know, we were talking. I mean, that's a little bit darker and everything that happening, and I think the idea, was a smart idea to maybe go a little bit lighter on your way out of Phase 2, because Phase 3 is going to be darker. I mean, we got Civil War coming, which is sure going to be good, but not a barrel of laughs. So I think it was kind of on purpose that this was the last one.
as far as the character goes in the comics, is it close to how Paul Rudd portrays him? Is he kind of a comedian?
Somewhat, because they went with that Hank Pym is older and we don't see him as Ant-Man, but Scott Lang was the second Ant-Man, and he was a thief. He did steal the Pym particle, and that's how he became Ant-Man. So, yeah, it's actually not that far off Scott Lang's character.
If you would have told me 10 years ago that Paul Rudd from, 40-year-old version, that's what I'm picturing, would be a superhero in a movie, I wouldn't have believed it.
He got abs, too. I mean, he got, there's one shot of him without a shirt. And
Derek has been talking about that all day.
he look good. It is. That's their thing, though, is grab comedic schlubby actors and then get them ripped.
It's kind of funny he did that just for one scene.
One scene.
Yeah.
It's literally one scene. And,
That's what steroids will do for you.
yeah. So, but yeah, Ant-Man, good. As a whole, for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's doesn't do anything too major. It just kind of introduces Ant-Man to everybody else. Who Ant-Man is going to be in Civil War, so who knows how big of a role. That's going to be kind of the interesting thing when we actually finally get to see Civil War, is how big of a role some of these guys have. If some of these are more glorified cameos, or are they very integral? I don't know. That's going to be kind of fascinating. But the biggest thing it does is it establishes Ant-Man. Also, Hydra. Hydra's still around.
Yeah, I was surprised by that.
Yeah, they mentioned Hydra, Hydra's still around in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Of course, at this point, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are dealing with Inhumans and all sorts of stuff. They've kind of gone way off from the movies.
You know what they say about Hydra, Matt?
What do they say?
You cut one head off and two more.
Right. See, there you go.
I thought they said hail.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
So, good movie. I'm excited for the sequel.
I very surprisingly really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, again, knowing nothing about Ant-Man other than he shrinks, I had so much fun with how they did this and the sets, and just these monumental explosions and stuff on such a tiny scale. Then they'll cut to the wide shot and it's nothing. It's hilarious.
That ending fight is great with the Thomas on the railroad. I mean, it feels so epic, but it's so silly, but it works. And the fun movie, fun light movie, which is great. All right, so I think we're going to wrap up because all of this was leading up to Civil War. So I think real quick before we finish is let's talk about what are our hopes for Civil War.
I hope this is better than Batman v Superman.
I think it will be.
I hope that with all my little heart.
It has to be.
I hope all movies
Yeah.
going forward
Or better.
are better than Batman vs Superman.
Yes. No, I'm very, very excited. I'm very excited for the new characters. I really love Black Panther from the comics. I'm excited to see him. Excited to see new Spider-Man. So that's going to be fun seeing the new characters. And yeah, like I said, I'm very curious how much of a Captain America movie this is and how much of kind of an Avengers movie this is.
Yeah.
Like a mini Avengers almost.
Yeah, I mean, are we going to be spending a lot of time with Cap and Falcon and Bucky and then some of this other stuff kind of, again, are some of these other characters, are they more cameos? You know, like are they just kind of there? Like War Machine in Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, is that going to be kind of the size of roles in
They all
Civil
come
War?
together for the fight, basically.
Right, there's the big fight scene that are in all the trailers, but, you know, so that's what I'm very curious about.
Yeah, I think a lot of that will come down to balancing screen time.
Yeah, and that's going to be the hard thing.
Well, I think, you know, like, based on some of the trailers and stuff that we've seen, War Machine's not going to be in it for very long.
Doesn't seem like it.
You know, I mean, I don't know that he's, you know, doomed or anything, but it's clearly he gets taken out.
At some point, yeah.
You know, you can imagine, I would guess that battle is probably not the end of the movie. I would imagine it's probably midpoint.
Could be.
What if it begins with that?
Would be kind of awesome.
And then they're just all hanging out in the fort later.
Yep.
After they settle their differences.
Shawarma.
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 They have shawarma. No, I'm very, very excited to see, and what's going to be interesting too, you know, when we're talking about sequels, I'm going to be very curious at the end of Civil War what actually ends up being the kind of the conclusion of that, and how that's going to affect the next slate of movies that we got coming out.
It's my guess. I'm betting that Captain America either dies or he gets put in the raft, in the prison.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how all this is going to come together, because we have up next is after Civil War is Doctor Strange. I kind of feel like Doctor Strange probably is not going to touch on a lot of what happens in Civil War, because he's kind of off in his own thing.
Yeah,
Is he
I
going to
don't
be
address it
in
at all.
this next movie at all?
No, he's not in Civil War.
Okay.
Well, as far as I know, that'd be a pretty crazy cameo that they've been able to keep a secret, which is possible, but probably doubtful that he's going to show up.
They got so much going on in there
Right.
already. I think that would be.
But it'd be more interesting because we'll have Black Panther movie. And it'd be interesting kind of the event, how that's going to go, and then even Spider-Man, how that's going to take off after Civil War. So and then even once we get to the next Avengers movie, you know, we're assuming they're going to be somewhat disjointed after the events of Civil War. That'll be interesting.
When is
Captain Marvel?
Captain Marvel coming out?
In between the Avengers movies. Because there's 2 Infinity War movies. And she's in between.
Right. So do you think we're going to be introduced to her in one of those?
We might. I wonder if we'll be introduced to her in Infinity War Part 1.
Right.
Her movie, kind of like what they're doing with Black Panther. We introduce, they get the movie, and then she'd be in the sequel. So I don't know. But it is going to be interesting. I feel like that, I think this will have an effect. Civil War will have effect on what they're doing going forward, which is good. Hopefully we don't just kill a character at the end and then go get the Justice League to get there and pretend like it all mattered and anybody was sad.
The Justice Friends?
Super Friends.
Super Friends. That's
Can
what
we
it
just
was.
call it Super Friends?
Super Friends.
Superman is dead.
All right.
Spoiler. We didn't even put the spoiler banner up.
I don't even care if I ruin that movie
put
for
it up when
somebody.
You said it the last time.
we put it up. I just dropped it.
Technically,
Probably too soon.
when I re-listened to that, no, we didn't. Because you're like, should we put spoiler out there? And Derek's like, nah, we'll do the spoiler warning later. And then like 30 seconds after that, you're like, so they kill Superman.
So screw you if you haven't watched Batman Superman and you're watching this.
But is that even something you can like spoil meaningfully? Because it's like even when it happens, you're like, he's gonna be back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So-
even after it happens, like
Yeah.
the crown kind of raises or whatever
It's
there.
like the most
That might have
meaningless.
been a vision or something, or
Right.
a dream sequence. I'm not sure.
It's more
Maybe
than
him
a
dying was a dream
Yeah.
sequence.
Or just circle right back to shitting on
The
Batman.
bats were
versus
coming to get him.
Superman.
Yep. That's where we're going to end our discussion on Marvel movies.
You guys want to talk about Daredevil for a little bit too?
And I actually should probably like watch Daredevil again before I actually like start talking trash about it because I haven't seen it for so
feel like
long.
we should
I doubt it will change my opinion.
We need to have a
But I should
non-sequel
have it.
night
This could be a good like another mini-sode like what we're doing now, where we shit
where we
always on
debate
movies.
these 3 shitty movies.
Yeah.
Well, we came up with 3 of them, didn't we?
Yeah. Wolverine,
That's right.
Yeah.
Wolverine, Daredevil, and Batman, Superman.
And Green Lantern. We got
And
4.
Green Lan- oh, yeah.
Green Lantern. Yeah.
Yep. So
What are you guys doing next?
we're not doing this
Yeah,
again
we're not.
anytime soon.
For a
We're all
while.
very tired.
Maybe next year. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe right before
Justice League.
Infinity War or something. Yeah, Justice League.
There you go. But yeah, so excited. This was fun. It was a long day, but it was kind of fun. I was gonna kind of rewatch these movies anyways over the next couple of weeks to get ready for Civil War anyway. So kind of knocked them all out at once, but excuse me, super excited. Any final thoughts from you guys before we sign off here?
Yeah, I really like the way that Marvel's been building up their big story.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, just little things here and there. The way that they're developing like Captain America's character and the way they've developed Tony Stark's character, you can really see the direction that they're heading.
Especially
towards
watching
this conflict.
that movie like right now, you can really see that conflict growing. So
Yeah, I think they did a good job in Ultron at kind of setting that up where they are friends, but they definitely do not agree on a lot of things. But they do seem to be. That's funny. A lot of people kind of commented that line from the trailer where he's like, "But he's my friend," and he goes, "So is I." And people are like, "You guys aren't friends. All you do is argue." But it's like if you watch the movies, I think they are friends. They are friends though that disagree a lot, like Robert and I.
But
It could be.
but now they've got bad blood.
Oh, yes. That's yeah.
You're really proud of that.
If-
Look at
No,
you.
I'm not.
You're just grinning.
all I can think about is how it should have ended.
Right.
Bat blood.
Yeah,
Yes.
that will replace that.
They
in my
should.
head
I really
now.
hope. How did this get made? No, not how did this get made. How it should have ended, guys. Too many things. They did a shot-for-shot remake of "Bad Blood" Taylor Swift song with Bat Blood ahead of Batman Superman.
I just love all the cameos from previous how it should have ended videos.
I feel like they should totally do this one again and do it for Civil War.
Yeah.
Have Cap and Tony would be kind of awesome. So, other people that do stuff, you do that.
Which is funny because
We just watched 4 movies. We're not doing anything.
Yeah. They are the equivalents, right? You know, Superman is Captain America.
Right.
Tony Stark is kind of Batman.
Yep.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Less drama, a little less sad. But
They're
he's
very
Batman.
similar.
Parents die of natural causes.
Yeah.
so then right before
Actually, didn't they tease that so-and-so killed Tony's dad?
Yeah, no, Hydra
Oh.
killed.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's
Well,
one
it
of
was
the.
like a tiny shot.
It's a real quick thing, but no, Hydra totally killed Howard Stark. It looked like an accident, but it was Hydra.
And flashed on the screen really quick
Yeah.
during.
It was one of those clips where it shows things. So no, Hydra. They kind of gone back, and Hydra's responsible for everything. A little
Hydra
bit.
killed Kennedy.
Yep.
And put man on the moon. It was kind of a weird
Faked
decade.
it. They
Faked
Faked it.
There
That's
was a
what it
few
was.
things that are on there, which are fun. So.
Chemtrails, totally Hydra.
Chemtrails. There we go.
The whole flat Earth theory.
Yay! We're gonna get a whole new audience in.
They're the Hydra's the one that's like detaining people in Walmarts in the Southwest or whatever that was.
Hydra's behind FEMA camps.
GMOs, totally
Yep.
Hydra.
Totally. Hydra.
Hydra's that rapper Bob that rapped about the flat Earth. He's Hydra. It's gonna be it's gonna be like hidden backwards in a track. It's gonna say "Hail Hydra."
The Guns N' Roses reunion. Totally
It's
Hydra.
Hydra. It's totally Hydra. I think we should blame
Batman
Hydra for
versus
everything.
Superman.
Yep, it's Hydra.
Totally Hydra.
Yep.
Anything else we want to shit on?
What
we're going
to be
here.
Hydra's fault. I think with that, I think we're gonna call it a night. Thank you for watching. Make sure to stay tuned because then we will. We don't know quite yet the schedule for all of this going up, when this will go up, but make sure to check out. We will be doing a MySequel on Civil War real soon. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure. Go back, enjoy the other MySequel podcasts we've got. The Sprocket Docket, our live podcast, is still up. We've got other videos. We got a video we looked at a rough cut of today, so we're going to be dropping an actual longer form video. Not long form, but not a podcast. Will be coming soon, and a bunch of other stuff. So stay tuned. We got a lot of cool crap happening. Sure, subscribe, like, comment. We're on a lot of different media.
Tell us what sequel you would like to see us talk about.
Yes. It's probably Civil War.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
If you're listening to this on iTunes, leave us a comment.
Yeah.
And ratings and reviews. That's how you get found.
There you go. Alrighty. Well, thank you, and good night.